now. So next thing I want to do is I want to start making items into different colors. So I'm going to click on my pop top. I'm going to go up to my image, go to adjustments, and go to hue and saturation. If I were to make this into its own layer, I could go down to the cookie down here and click cookie and then hue saturation. But I want to make sure that this is its own. I want to make sure that I don't have any more layers because I have enough layers already. So I'm going to click colorize, and now I'm going to add the color to it. So I want this top to be a reddish color. I can change the saturation if I want. I don't want to do too much saturation because you start to lose the texture in the paper from the texture of the paper. But this looks good. So if you want, you can keep these numbers. But 360 looks good. And then I'm going to go to pop 2. I'm going to go back to hue. And I could just use the keystroke for this, which is Command U. And this one's going to be a little bit different, a little bit darker. And click OK. And do the next one. I'm going to skip the stick until the end. So I'm going to do middle 3. This color, let's look at the resource again. So red, orange, and yellow. So let's see. And your colors don't have to match the actual thing. So I'm going to do Command U, colorize, and I'm going to make this one an orangey color. To the best that I can. So orangey color. And again, I don't want to change too much because I'm starting to lose the texture in here. So I'm going to click OK. And the middle 2, do the same for that. Command U. And I'm going to change this color as well to like an orangey color. It's a little bit darker for this one than it was the other one. All right, and then I know the last one I'm going to do as yellow, so Command U, make this one yellow. There's my yellow color, and maybe a little bit brighter. I can colorize it and do it. So the reason why I say colorize is because I don't know which one you're using. Which background texture you're using, so I suggest to colorize it. Some of the grays work really well with the colorize. The darker colors like I have here obviously don't need it as much, so you could have done it without the colorize. So I got my yellow color and click OK. And bottom 2, let's do it again. More of a green color there, so let me see if I can get it to be a little bit more yellow. All right, click OK, and then now I just have to do the stick in the middle. I'm just gonna do it as like a brownish color, I think. So color U, and let's make it a generic like a brown. And sometimes you have to fool with these a little bit to get the color you want. All right, and then the stick, Control U, and all right, so I got my popsicle. So that's the first step. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our layer, and if you can see, this is what it looks like without the lines on. I'm going to take that line layer and I'm going to drag it all the way to the top, and it covers my original layer. And what I want to do is I want to colorize my black lines. So Normally you would do this after you've completed both popsicles, but I'm gonna do it just for the first one. So I'm gonna take all my popsicle layers. I'm gonna click on the top one, hold down shift and click on the bottom one. So they're all selected, and then I'm gonna put them in a folder. I'll title that folder popsicle. Popsicle. All right. And I can open it up so I can see all of them. So I just wanted to show you how to make a folder real quick, and to keep your files organized. If you have 2 popsicles on here, you might have a lot of layers, so it might be nice to have them in folders. For this one right here, what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I can see my colors underneath this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and this is called your blending modes. I'm going to change my blending mode to multiply. So what happened, the magic that's happening here is when you multiply white, you're actually multiplying nothing. So essentially white is just the color of the paper. And if we're multiplying it, there's nothing there. So it becomes just the dark lines that we see. Right, so now I have my dark lines. I'm going to colorize this a little bit, just like we did before. I'm going to hit Command U. I'm going to come over here to colorize. I'm going to change my saturation. And I'm going to change my lightness. And I actually like that first color that showed up right there. That reddish color is kind of nice. Maybe a little bit more yellow. See if we can get more yellow in it. It was better as the reddish color. So I think that looks nice right there. So I'm going to click OK. And what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to offset it a little bit. So I'm just using my arrows, and I'm just offsetting it so I have a nice little edge to my popsicle. And it gives it a little, almost like a highlight, right? So there, my design is done. So next thing I want to do is add a background color behind this. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to click my cookie at the bottom, click solid color, and I'm going to choose a nice background color. Actually, I'm going to make sure I'm on the bottom layer when I do this, my texture 3. So I'm going to go solid color. And I'm going to choose a nice color for my background. Maybe a nice bluish color, off blue. Yeah, that looks nice. And click OK. So what I want to do is I want to make obviously finish the one over here, but I can also go back in here and I can do some stuff with my shape layer. So let's take this popsicle layer, and I have this nice blue, but I don't have any white in here anymore. So I want to add a little bit of white, offset white to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my original layer. I'm going to click on my magic wand. I'm just going to click where the white would be. Hold down shift to get these little edges that I missed. And I'm going to go select, inverse, and now I have the inverse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with white. So I'm going to go solid color, and I'm going to say white, click OK. I'm just going to drag that layer below my other layers. This layer, below my other popsicle layers. And then now I'm just going to offset a little bit. So offset it, and using my arrows, I'm just hitting over to the right and to the bottom and putting it offset. That just gives it a nice another dimension to the layers. So it gives me another white line right here and some lines inside there as well. So it's just a nice little addition to it. If I were to continue, I would also add to this side over here, making these, doing this all in color as well. But as it stands, I just did one for the example. I hope you enjoyed this.